Welcome to Horror Boys. It's a podcast on the internet. I'm Austin, joined as always by
Chris.
And we are the Horror Boys. And this isn't any old podcast on this old internet. No, my friends. This is a horror movie review podcast. No caveats. I can just say that again.
Yeah. We are just a horror movie review podcast today.
Until like October.
Yeah. You understand.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're talking about movies.
Yeah, we are.
Specifically, we're about to start a franchise.
Yeah, we are.
And
our favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I like franchises.
A franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I like some franchises.
I like the idea of franchises.
A lot of people do. That's why there's a butt ton of them.
Yeah. But yeah, if you somehow clicked on this without paying attention to what it said it was, this is the Final Destination. We're going to talk about it. First Final Destination movie.
Yeah.
From 2000, I believe.
And I am excited about this movie. This franchise, really. Because it's just such a goofy, campy movie.
Yeah. It's fun.
It is.
Let's talk about it. We'll give our the pre-notes, as I call them, which isn't really pre-notes. It's just more notes.
The preamble.
Yeah, it's the let's tell you about all the people who worked on this movie section of the podcast. Our director and co-writer is James Wong of 21 Jump Street, the TV show, American Horror Story, the TV show. Not that there's a non-TV show version. I just thought that'd be funny.
I was gonna say what
there isn't. I just because I said for the TV show for the other one that was also a TV show. I thought it'd be funny. He also directed a little movie that kind of ruined his career, at least in movies. American Horror Story was after, but he did direct a movie called Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Yeah. We won't hold that against him for this movie. Our writers, who aren't James Wong, the first one we got is Jeffrey Reddick of the Day of the Dead remake. I believe it was a situation where he wrote the script, and then the director and then the other writer who's out here as a producer came in and fleshed it out, changed it up a little bit, made it better. Kind of a situation. They took a second, look at it, and the other one is Glenn Morgan of Black Christmas 2006, and that one's not the terrible one. You're thinking of 2019.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't think Black Christmas 2006 is as good as the 74 one. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's
I've watched parts of it, and I was like, I'd rather not do this at all.
Yeah, we're covering it in December. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I'm aware, sadly.
Yeah. And he also wrote Willard alongside Horror Boy alums Arlie Ermey of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake timeline and Crispin Glover of, I believe he's Friday the 13th Part 4? I think that's why he's a Horror Boy alum. It's Crispin Glover. He's, Marty McFly's dad in Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
And he does the really awful dancing in one of the movies. I think it's 4. Don't know.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah. Our composer is the late Shirley Walker who as a composer did Willard, Black Christmas 2006, Batman the Animated Series, and Escape from Los Angeles.
Ooh.
But also worked as a conductor. She is a Horror Boy alum for being the conductor of Child's Play 2's orchestra.
Ooh,
so yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah. Our director of photography is Robert McLaughlin of Willard, Black Christmas, Game of Thrones, Dragon Ball Evolution. Sorry, what?
And I'm noticing some overlay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people work together. It's welcome to Hollywood. And said I got Game of Thrones, Dragon Ball Evolution. Won't hold it against him. And the Horror Boy alum Riddled, Cursed alongside Portia de Rossi, Joshua Jackson, Derek Mears, Howard Berger, Marco Beltrami, Kevin Williamson, and Wes Craven. Whew. We're going to cover Curse at some point. Don't worry, everyone. This is like the 4th or 5th time I brought up Curse because everyone's in it, and on paper it should be the perfect movie, but it isn't.
And it's not.
It's not, but it should be.
Boy, howdy, is it not.
Our production designer is John Willett of Lake Placid, Halloween H2O, and is a Horror Boy alum for Freddy vs. Jason.
Ooh.
Our special makeup effects supervisor is the late Ryan Nicholson of Blade Trinity and Blair Witch. That's the sequel remake thing, not the original one.
The thing that happened.
I mean, I feel like that one's not as much as like Blair Witch 2.
Oh,
yeah. Special effects coordinator. Oh, sorry. This is first time ever. I'm bringing up 3 more categories because I feel like they really make sense in this franchise, and I'll probably keep them around because they are important things I probably should have given credit for in past episodes. Our special effects coordinator is Terry Soderhoff of Trick or Treat and 13 Ghosts. Our stunt coordinator is JJ Marco of Scooby-Doo 2, X-Men 2, AVP R, which is AVP 2, and all of the CW's DC television shows. He does the stunt. I mean, I don't know if the stunts are bad on that.
Yeah, no. I would imagine that the stunts are probably fine on this. I just don't like it, generally speaking.
I like the first 2 seasons of Flash and like the first 3 seasons of Arrow. There was like 10 seasons of each of those.
Yeah.
And then lastly, our digital visual effects and 3D animation is done by Pixel Magic. Yeah. So it's time to talk about the actual movie itself, not just the before this stuff.
Yeah! The meat and potatoes, if you will.
We open the movie with our title card over a stormy window. We then get our credits over shots of our main character's room. There's also, I won't say what they are because it would be a spoiler, but I watched a video where they pointed out that
all the books?
Not just the book, but every shot in there foreshadows a character's death. Yeah.
Huh.
In like the order they happen. Like, so I won't say what they are, but if you like go back a second time to watch it, you can see it there. And go like, oh, there it is.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like it.
Alex's parents check in on Alex while he preps his bag for his trip tomorrow. Alex Browning is played by Horror Boy alum Devon Sawa. Woo! Little baby Devon Sawa.
So baby, in this movie. It's
to be fair, this was 23 years ago.
Yeah.
22 years ago from the most recent time we saw him as Father Bryce.
He was but a young lad.
I believe he was 21 at this point. So, like, he was literally younger than us when he made this.
That's wild.
Yeah. His mother, Barbara Browning, is played by Barbara Tyson of The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia.
Oh, yes.
And I know I'm breaking the rules here, but she was in this movie alongside Emily Allen Lind, who is not a Horror Boy alum, but she is the sister and daughter of Horror Boy alums Olivia Allen Lind and Barbara Allen Woods of the Chucky franchise. So I normally I would not bring up like just another person in a movie, but like it was like when I just clicked on like a movie she was in that was a horror movie that I was gonna bring up no matter what, and I was like, oh, that's the sister of, that's the Allen Lind. Oh, she's related. So yeah, I'll bring her up real quick. It's breaking the rules. I won't do that any other time. I don't do that. I haven't done that many times when there's much bigger, more important actors in movies. But because of the connection to Horror Boy alums here, I brought it up.
Fair.
His father is Ken Browning. Or sorry, his father, His father, the character, Ken Browning, is played by Robert Wilson of Smallville and Watchmen, alongside Horror Boy alums Rob LaBelle of Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Jackie Earle Haley of Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. Alex tries to stop his mom from removing the baggage claim tag from his bag because he thinks it's good luck to keep it because the bag made it through his last flight. She takes it off anyway.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
his dad says, 17, on the loose. Senior trip with your friends in Paris. 10 days in the springtime. Wait, that doesn't. I feel like maybe that's right. I don't know. Live it up, Alex. You got your whole life ahead of you. And then Alex dramatically looks up when his dad says that. And the first of many times that Devon Sawa will dramatically look at the camera as the music hits on moments that aren't actually that dramatic, but kind of elevate this movie to weird camp fun of I love it.
Yeah.
This movie takes itself so seriously, and it's not, and I love it for it.
It does take itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
It is very silly.
While he's sleeping, wind blows Alex, even though his fan is off and his window is closed.
Ooh!
What? His clock flickers between 1 a.m. and 1:80.
That's too scary. Turn off the movie.
We transitioned into a shot at the airport showing Alex's flight number is 180. Oh! Ah! What a coincidence. Oh, he's going to die.
Not watching 23 or whatever that movie with Jim Carrey is, where every number is relevant.
27, I think.
Maybe it's 27.
I don't know. I think it's 23 because I'm also thinking of the movie 7.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
also made by the same studio, New Line Cinema, around the same time. They talked about it on the DVD.
That's fun.
Yeah. Outside, Carter helps Billy pick up his bag, even though Billy is not ready, causing Billy to fall back on the ground. Carter's girlfriend, Terry, laughs at Billy. Carter is played by Kerr Smith of Dawson's Creek, Riverdale, and My Bloody Valentine 2009. And now we are, just so if you don't know, we are in the portion of the movie where we get introduced to like 20 characters, because we not mentioned that this movie comes out post-Scream and is trying to capitalize on the teen horror market.
Yeah.
Billy is played by Sean William Scott of Dude, Where's My Car, Role Models, a personal favorite of mine, Goon, and most famously is Stifler in the American Pie movies.
Yeah, he is definitely Stifler in most people's art.
Yeah. Terry is played by Amanda Detmer. Todd tries to hit on Krista and Blake, but they both ignore him. Todd is played by Chad Donella of Disturbing Behavior, Smallville, and Saw 3D. Krista is played by Lisa Marie Kurek of Smallville and Snakes on a Plane. Blake is played by Christine Chatelain of Smallville. We also see Clear, Miss Valerie Newton, and Todd's brother George. They're all seen in this scene as well, so let's introduce them as well. Clear is played by Allie Larder of Resident Evil 3, 4, and 6, and House on Haunted Hill, alongside Horror Bois alums Chris Kattan and Famke Jensen. Ooh. Yeah. Valerie is played by... Also, I call her Valerie for the most part, but also sometimes I call her Miss Newton... or Luton. Is it Luton? I think it's Luton. Miss Luton. I'll go back and forth. I don't know, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Valerie is played by Kristen Cloak of Black Christmas 2006, alongside Horror Bois alums Katie Cassidy of Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, and Andrea Martin of the original Black Christmas. George is played by Brendan Furr of Disturbing Behavior, Roswell, and Silent Night 2012. Everyone in this movie goes on to do other horror remakes, apparently.
That tracks.
Yeah. As the students walk in the airport, they are welcomed by their French teacher, Mr. Larry Murnau, played by Forbes Angus. Todd and George's dad gives them gives them money as they walk into the airport and tells Alex, "You take care of them." Alex responds, "I will." But will he? Find out later. Mr. Wagner is played by Larry Gilman of Cool Runnings and The Terror Within 2, alongside Horror Bois alums Arlie Ermy and Barbara Allen Woods.
Ooh.
Yeah. Inside the airport, Alex is given a pamphlet by a Hare Krishna Hindu who says, "Death is not the end." Valerie gives him back the pamphlet, saying, "It will be for you if you harass my students." In the credits, he's just referred to as Hare Krishna, so that's what I'm going to keep calling him, even though that's technically like the name of the faith. But yeah. Hare Krishna responds, "Hare Rama." Valerie mouths an obscenity in response. That man is played by Guy Falcon, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm guessing. I'll be honest, a little bit of a weird, different name.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Alex checks his bag. The ticket clerk tells him that his birthday is the same as his departure time, September 25th at 9:25. Oh, the coincidences.
Oh, let's turn the movie off. It's too much.
Okay, we'll turn it off.
All right, thanks.
Tune in next week, guys.
All right, bye.
Nah,
thanks.
we're just kidding. The ticket clerk is played by Nicole Robert. Todd and George are arguing over the money their dad gave them. Carter pushes Billy before making out with Terry. Clear is a loner who drops her book. Alex picks it up for her. Alex then stares out the window at the plane, very dramatically, until Todd comes up and tells him they should go poop before the flight, so they don't stink up the toilet on the plane with their poop, making Krista and Blake dislike them.
Girls would remember them for their stinky poop.
Yeah, you don't want to be that person. So you know what they do next? They go to the bathroom to poop.
Yeah, crazy.
Rocky Mountain High by John Denver is playing. Alex says, "John Denver, he died in a plane crash." Coincidence? Oh
no! No, there's no coincidences. Only plane crashes.
Actually, there are no accidents or coincidences, Chris. That's a line later.
Oh, okay.
The boys finish up and go to board. I pulled 2 pages instead of 1. The plane. Everyone starts to board except for Billy, who is missing. My papers are acting up. Alex notices scratches on the outside of the plane door and looks at them dramatically. On the plane, a baby is crying. George says, "That's a good sign. The younger the better. It'd be a messed up god to take down this plane." He doesn't say messed up, but,
Yeah.
Then they see a man with cerebral palsy, and George says, "A really messed up god." Alex goes back to his seat. Blake asks Todd, "Can you switch seats with Krista?" Todd replies, "I would, but I got a bladder thing. It's a urinary tract infection." Because, he's trying to hit on these girls, and so he wants them to think he has a urinary tract infection. So, choice.
Yeah, it sure is.
Alex sees burn marks on the wing, and he stares at them dramatically. Oh, I'm scared that he's going to keep doing this the whole movie.
That would be pretty scary.
Yeah. The girls ask Alex if he'll trade seats with them. Todd silently tries to tell Alex not to switch seats, but Alex agrees to. Yeah. In his new seat, Alex's tray table is broken and won't stay up. And he stares at it dramatically. He actually doesn't really. I don't remember him doing it, but it was funny to say it again. Billy arrives late and takes his seat. The plane takes off, but it hits some turbulence. Everyone in the plane is freaking out, especially Alex. But not the flight attendants, because, it's just turbulence. It's fine. And then the turbulence stops. Everything's fine. Everyone's relieved. But then it starts back up again. And worse. Bags start falling out of the overhead compartment. The lights flicker. Everyone starts screaming. The oxygen masks fall. An explosion happens at the front of the plane. A wall ripped off with a whole row of people falling out. And then a big explosion happens and burns everyone up, including Devon Sawa's character. And that's the end of the movie, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you next week for Final Destination 2. Wait. No, sorry. Alex wakes up in a sweat as Krista asks him to switch seats, like earlier. He gets up and runs over to the seat by Todd and sees the tray table is broken. Oh no.
Wow.
The flight attendant asks Alex if everything's alright. Alex yells, "The bleeping plane is going to explode." Carter tells him, "Shut up, Browning." Terry says, "You're not funny." Flight attendant says, "If this is your idea of a joke," but Alex interrupts him. "It's not a joke." Todd says, "Alex, take it easy." Carter gets up and says, "That's it. Sit down, Browning." Carter goes over and tries to hit Alex, causing a commotion that gets himself, Alex, Terry, Billy, who's just arriving on the plane, Valerie, and Larry kicked off the plane. George sends Todd off the plane to check on Alex, and Clear decides to get off the plane too. The flight attendant is played by the late Randy Stone, who was only in a few movies, but was the casting director of Jaws 3D. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. Once off the plane, the co-pilot says that none of them can get back on the plane. The co-pilot is played by Mark Holden of World War Z. Valerie explains that either her or Larry have to get back on the plane because they're sending students to France and they're their teachers. He agrees that one of them can go. She explains the situation to Larry, who says he'll stay, but she says no, he should go because he knows the whole French thing. Which makes me wonder, what kind of teacher is she? Like, why is she only on this trip with the French class if she doesn't even speak French?
That is a good question. Doesn't really make any sense at all.
Yeah, so Larry gets back on the plane, though. Valerie tells Alex, "Alex, talk to me. Tell me what happened." Alex responds, "I saw it. Like, I don't know. I saw it. I saw it on the runway. I saw it take off. I saw it in my window. I saw the ground and the cabin. It starts to shake, right? And the left side blows up. And the whole plane just explodes. It was so real. Just like how everything happens, you know?" And Todd asks, "You've been on a lot of planes that blew up?" But, you know, a fair question. You know, like, he said, like it happens. I don't think this happens to most people, actually.
Yeah, you know how it happens.
No.
When it happens, when you get blown up on a plane, remember?
Oh, yeah, I do. Last summer. Valerie says, "You must have fallen asleep." Carter says, "Whoa, we get thrown off the plane? We blow, what, half a day in Paris all because Brownings had a bad dream? But wait, the plane, it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up." Alex jumps up and tackles Carter, saying, "The only trip you're taking is to the hospital." Their fight is broken up as the plane takes off. Carter says, "You're paying for my trip, Browning." Alex replies, "I wish you were on the plane." Right as the plane explodes in the air.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at Alex with either confused, disgusted, or fearful looks. I mean, fair. He did just, describe the plane exploding, and then it exploded. So,
this is
it
true.
is a little suspicious. And also, the moment where if you aren't paying attention, you realize, oh, this movie came out in the year 2000, because it could not have come out literally for like the 10 years following that. Maybe now you could get away with it? Maybe? But it definitely couldn't have come out like a year or two later.
Nope, definitely not.
Nope. We head to them all in a holding room with everyone still staring at Alex. Alex says, "You're looking at me as if I caused this. I didn't cause this." Valerie asks, "Are there any survivors?" Alex responds, "How should I know? What do you think? I'm some sort of..." Clear interrupts. "He's not a witch." Which, fair. I don't know if anyone was calling him a witch, but, he's not.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he is not a witch, guys.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. In comes Howard Siegel of the National Transportation and Safety Board, followed by Agents Ween and Shrek of the FBI. This also came out in the year before Shrek, so that name was not that funny then. It was just a name. But now it's like, his name is Shrek.
Yeah.
It is spelled differently, though.
Very.
Very much so, yeah. Howard is played by Fred Keating of MVP 2, Most Valuable Primate, Air Bud, World Pup, and Santa Claus 2. Agent Ween is played by Daniel Roebuck of DCOM The Quince, Bubba Hotep, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, alongside Horror Boy alums Tyler Main of, I believe, Hatchet 3, Sean Whalen of, I believe, Hatchet 3, Ken Foray of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Sid Haig of Victor Crowley? Could be wrong. Richard Reel of the first Hatchet, Margot Kidder of Black Christmas, Bill Moseley of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I think at least one other thing, but we'll just credit him for that. Danielle Harris of Hatchets 2 through Victor Crowley. And last but not least, National Treasure Brad Dourif was also in Halloween 1s and 2. There's too many Horror Boy alums in those movies.
Yeah.
And it's all because of the stupid Hatchet franchise, and Adam Green also loving horror actors, just like Rob Zombie did, and they both just brought in like every horror actor into their movies.
Fair.
And then we also have Agent Shrek, who is played by Roger Genver Smith of Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, and Tales from the Hood. Howard he says, I don't know why I wrote asks. Howard says, we've contacted all your families. They are on the way. Is there anyone who feels they might need a little medical attention or spiritual counseling at this time? Valerie asks, what's going on? Are there any survivors? Howard says, well, the cause for the explosion is still undetermined. The Nassau County authorities are on the scene. Naval search and rescue en route. Agent Ween says, excuse me, I'm Agent Ween. This is Agent Shrek. We're with the FBI. No, I understand how you all must be feeling, and I know it's going to be difficult. But we're going to need to ask you a couple of questions regarding today's events while they're still fresh in your mind. I'm sure this will prove invaluable to our rescue attempts and any potential criminal investigation. We head to Alex, being questioned. Agent Shrek says, you said, listen to me, this plane... I'm assuming, like, will explode on takeoff, but for some reason, this is the first time it's happened so far, of, like, completely wrong words. It says, looks cold on takeoff? And I don't believe that's what Agent Shrek said he said, because he definitely didn't say that. I'm assuming it was will explode. On takeoff. How did you know that? Alex says, I got this feeling. This weird feeling. Agent Ween asks, did you take any sedatives before boarding the plane? Or on board? Did you take any sleeping pills? Any narcotics? Any hallucinogens? Alex, did you take any drugs? Alex says, no. I saw it. I saw it happen. I saw the plane explode. Agent Shrek asks, did the weird feelings have anything to do with you saying that you wished Carter Horton was on the plane just before it exploded? Alex shakes his head and says no. Agent Shrek says, then why did you say it?
Yeah.
Alex, valid. Yeah, no, it is very valid. Alex says, because I didn't really think it was going to happen. And Agent Ween asks, if that's the case, then why didn't you get off the plane? Also a fair question.
Yeah. Yeah.
We head to Todd's questioning, where Todd says, my brother, George, he told me to go and keep an eye on Alex, and so he stayed, and he told me to get off the plane. Now to Valerie's questioning, where she says, Larry Minot said I should get back on, but I told him he should go. I sent him back on the plane. She starts to cry. We head to Claire's questioning, where Agent Ween says, nobody forced you off the plane. You said you weren't friends with those that were. So Clear, why did you get off the plane? Clear says, because I saw and I heard Alex, and I believe him. Also, I forgot to acknowledge it when we brought up the character. Her name is Clear. You may think her name is Claire, but no, it is Clear. Clear Rivers.
Clear Rivers. Let that sink in first.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up when it happened and like harp on it then. But yeah, her character's name is Clear.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep, moving on. We don't need to harp on it too much, but we harped on it enough. We'll move on. We had to harp on it at least a little bit. We head back to the holding room where everyone's families, including Billy's mother and father,
True.
come in. But, sorry, actually, everyone's families doesn't come because Clear's family doesn't show up. Clear gets a ride home from the Brownings. Once home, Alex cries and embraced by his mother. Alex watches the news and finds out that there have been no survivors found and all 287 passengers are feared dead. Alex looks outside and sees lightning touch down on his street and stares at it very dramatically.
Yeah.
I mean, this one,
to be fair, the lightning is very close to his street.
Yeah, to be fair, this is like the first time where I'm actually like, it's fair.
Like, maybe, something is out to get him.
Yeah, maybe. Spoiler it is. That's the plot of the movie.
Okay.
We cut to 39 days later at a memorial service / physical memorial reveal at the school. All the students, their families, and Valerie are there as expected. Also there are Agent Shrek and Ween. Mr. Wagner gives Alex a dirty look. Valerie is crying, sitting on the stage. The memorial is a statue of an eagle with the names of the lost on a plaque engraved on it. Everyone gets up and leaves roses at the memorial. Carter says, I hope you don't think, Browning, because my name made up on this wall, that I owe you anything. Alex responds, I don't. Carter continues, because all I owe these people is to live my life to the fullest. Alex says, why don't you stay off the JD then, huh, Carter? Do you know what the JD is? I don't know what that is. I'm just curious if you got it. Okay.
Could not tell you what the JD is. The junior division.
Juvenile detention, maybe? I don't know. It's just me guessing.
Maybe.
But it was worded. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. Carter grabs Alex's arm and says, listen, don't you ever tell me what to do. I control my life, not you. I'm never going to die. Spoiler alert. Maybe he dies. Maybe he doesn't. Actually, there's no spoiler. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you. Gosh. Think I'd do that? But also, he's a human, so at some point he will die. So, spoiler. All human characters will die at some point, even if it's off screen. Terry gets him to walk away. Billy comes over to Alex and asks, hey, Alex, I took my driver's test last week at the DMV. Got a 70. It's the lowest score you can get, but I passed. The thing is, when I was done with the test, do you know the guy that drives with you? During the test? Yeah, well, anyways, he goes, young man, you're going to die at a very young age. Is that true? Alex says, not now, not here, not ever, Billy. Billy starts to walk away before asking, if I ask out Cynthia Pastor, will she say no? Alex responds with an obscenity. Billy gets the message and leaves.
Yeah.
Alex walks up to Valerie and says, Miss Luton, she interrupts him, don't talk to me. You scared the hell out of me. And she walks away.
Which rude.
Yeah, no, fair, but also like a little rude. Todd walks up to Alex. They share pleasantries before Alex says, listen, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I miss you, Todd says, yeah, I miss you too. But my father, he doesn't understand. Hey, look, when he gets over this thing, you and me, we'll road trip to the city, catch the Yanks. Alex responds, yeah, all right, we'll do that. Todd leaves to go read something in front of everyone. I want to just dissect this dialogue a little bit because it's some of it's just really funny to me if you think about it for even half a second. One, I love. You could tell how this is from the early 2000s because the just insane toxic masculinity, homophobia of you can't even tell your friend you miss them without like it's like wow this is of the times of like
valid.
I don't want you to take this the wrong way. But I miss... It's not like you're like, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, man, but I love you. You're like my brother. No, he says, I just miss you. My friend that I haven't seen, I miss. And that's like, we gotta make sure you know I'm not.
Yo,
don't take this the wrong way. It's like, come on. Seriously?
Oh, man.
Then also, I also want to address the line from Todd. Hey, look, when he gets over this thing... His brother died. And I get that, yes, his dad's blaming, Alex, who isn't actually at fault, but gets over this thing. Gets over this thing? You mean your brother's death?
Yeah, when your dad gets over the death of his son.
It's Todd who says it.
Let me know so we can hang out.
Yeah, it's at least Todd who says it. It's not the other way around. If the other way around, it would be really bad. But... yeah, okay. We can move on from this scene, but I just wanted to address those 2 points of dialogue because they're great.
They are pretty ridiculous.
Clear comes up to Alex and gives him her rose, saying, because of you, I'm still alive. Thank you. She walks away as Todd starts his speech. We say that the hour of death cannot be forecast. But when we say this, we imagine the hour is placed in an obscure, distant future. It never occurred to us it has any connection to the day already begun. Or that death could arrive this same afternoon. This afternoon which is so certain, and which has every hour filled in advance. It's a nice little poetic thing.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. We cut to Todd's bathroom. Wind begins to blow, so he closes the window. We see that it continues to blow, and it shuts the door. What? Wind can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, this must be death wind.
Advanced wind.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
At some point in my notes, probably closer a little bit halfway in, I start calling it Death's Wind, but so I might try to do that going forward. It's Death's Wind. Spoiler. No, I guess you don't know what death is yet, and if you're just listening to this and
I ate too much Taco Bell. I like it, Death's Wind.
Boo.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you cut me off. I was gonna make a joke about like how I was gonna explain the concept of death to our viewers, like they had never heard about someone dying. But you made a fart joke instead, and I'm mad at you. My joke wasn't gonna be good, but it was gonna be better than a fart joke.
I don't know. I think fart jokes.
Also, because we brought up our audience, I will bring up that our analytics have changed. It's no longer just old people. We still love you, old people who are there. But like, our 60% of our audience now is like 18 to 27.
Oh wow!
Or it's 20,
kind of cool.
23 to 30. That's something. It's somewhere in like the art. We would fall in it, whatever it is.
Yeah, we have people our age watching
like
our podcast.
60% of the podcast listeners are us now. It's not just my dad being 80% and plus a couple other people, he told about it or whatever. We finally have listeners who are like in the demographic I expected to hope to have some of at least. They're the majority now. But it is all men also.
Well, that does track.
At least according to this, all these statistics are based off of Spotify listeners. So if you are one of those listeners who listen on the other platforms... I don't know anything about you.
Be on Spotify, sorry.
Yeah.
If you want to be
if you want me to know your analytics, be on Spotify. That's the only way I know your analytics. But yeah, there's the little brief in the middle of the podcast, getting distracted and telling you analytic information that no one asked for. So, Todd, you know what he does next? Because he's in the bathroom? He goes to the bathroom. He sits on the toilet. Because this movie is all about Todd pooping. That's the actual theme of the movie. Yeah. Water starts dripping from the pipe at the back of the toilet. We head to Alex's room, where we see he has a bunch of books about airplane disasters.
He sure does.
Yeah. He picks up a newspaper that has an article about the memorial service. So I don't know if it was like seeing a picture of Clear made him decide to do this or not, but it kind of, you could interpret it that way. But he decides to then look at a certain magazine because he probably plans on doing a harmonica solo. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
The magazine is at the top of a hotel, typically. Moving on.
Some might call it a penthouse.
I would never say that. Not what we're talking about.
Some might. I would
say that.
Personally,
I would never. I was trying to allude to it without saying such a crude magazine name, Chris.
I just said the penthouse room is the place that you would stay.
Oh. Yeah.
Not that I would know, because I'm poor and I could never afford it. But, it's what I've heard.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
So anyway.
I lost my place.
He's looking at a magazine.
Yeah. Back to Todd. The water has now pooled on the floor and is moving, seemingly, towards Todd, who is shaving.
Sentient water, can confirm.
Yeah, the water is also blue, but I think that's just to show up better on the screen. I don't think it's actually supposed to be blue.
It's got special toilet water.
Yeah. Todd cuts himself on accident as he sees shadows in the mirror. He turns around. But nothing's there. It's fine. It's all good. He plugs in the radio in. John Denver's Rocky Mountain High plays. He unplugs it because, he apparently he's not a big John Denver fan. And walks away, and the water turns to follow him?
That's not how water works, typically, I think.
We head back to Alex, who decides not to do a harmonica solo. Decided just, instrument wasn't in tune. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm moving on.
I would prefer we didn't linger on that anymore.
An owl shows up outside his window. He throws the magazine at the window, but it hits the fan. It hits the fan, but actually, literally, not like me trying to not curse and say a phrase.
Right.
No, and it tears up the pages. A piece lands on his lap that has just the letters T-O-D of the word today. Oh. Back to Todd.
Day.
Spelled T-O-D. Yeah. Despite the fact that in my notes it's spelled T-O-D-D because text-to-speech would not do the other one.
That's fair.
Who takes clothes off of a drying line in his shower. Right as the water gets under his feet, causing him to slip and have the line choke him to death.
And then the shampoo in the shower gets all over the floor of the bathtub. And then it slips inside.
He can't reach the scissors.
And then
he just chokes death. Yeah. I already said that because this of the deaths is like the least drawn out. It kind of just. I mean, it's just as drawn out, but it's the least complicated. He just chokes for a while. So he's dead. The water then retreats back under the toilet because this time, and only this time in the whole franchise, death decides to cover its tracks.
Yeah, it's a little bit shy.
Alex heads over to Todd's house and finds the ambulance and coroner's van. Agent Shrek and Ween are also there and see Alex show up. Clear from behind a tree tells him, "Get out of here." He doesn't listen. Mr. Wagner walks up to Alex and says, "Didn't you see it? You caused Todd so much guilt over George staying on the plane, he took his own life." Alex said, "No, look, he wouldn't do that, okay? He said to me, we'd be friends again after you got better. Why would he make plans with me if he was thinking about killing himself?" Mr. Wagner walks away. Alex looks back where Clear was, and she's gone. And he looks dramatically over at Wish. No, he doesn't. I mean, he probably does a little bit, but not too much. We cut to the next day, where Alex goes over to Clear's house. As he walks up, Clear says, "Almost autumn." Alex says, "It's only the end of June." Clear continues, "Yeah, but everything's always in transition. You focus, even now, just 1 week in the summer, you can almost feel autumn coming. I like being able to see the future." Okay, weirdo, is what Alex should have said. But instead, he says, Alex asks, he doesn't say, Alex doesn't say, Alec, I just was going back to my, oh gosh. Why were you at Todd's house last night? Clear says, I've seen enough TV to know that the FBI doesn't investigate teen word describing what it's believed Todd did. Thanks, YouTube. Yeah. She continues. They were there last night. That means 1, they still don't have a clue what caused the crash. 2, they haven't ruled out anything. And the fact that 7 people got off the plane is probably weird enough. Not to mention that one of those people had a vision, or whatever, of a plane exploding minutes before it actually did explode. It's highly suspicious. Doesn't help that the visionary's friend just committed the same word that I can't say.
Yep.
Alex said, nope. Alex says, why were you there last night? Clear instead says, you know what this is? Referring to an art piece she made. Alex says, this is Springy Head Guy. Because he's really clever and funny, guys.
Yeah. Pretty smart.
Clear says, it's you. Not a likeness. It's how you make me feel, Alex. Alex says,
a springy head guy.
Sorry? Clear continues. No, like you, the sculpture doesn't even know what or why it is. It's reluctant to take form, and yet creating an absolute but incomprehensible attraction. All right, Clear. I'm taking a shot. Yeah. I respect it. But then she continues explaining why this actually makes no sense for her to have said that. In 4 years of high school, we haven't said one word to each other. Oh.
Yeah.
In that moment, on the plane, I felt what you felt. I didn't even know where these emotions were coming from until you started freaking out. I didn't see what you saw, but I felt it. You can still feel it, can't you? Something from that day is still with you. I know, because I can still feel you. That's why I was there last night.
Yeah. Claire's just really hot for Alex.
Alex says, you know, I've never dealt with death before. This could all be in our head. It just feels like it's all around us. Claire says, it? Alex continues, well, what if Todd was just the first of us? Claire asks, is that something that you're feeling? Alex says, I don't know. I don't know why he's now just like a stoner, because this dialogue is so atrocious, but like in a great way. Like I love it. Like I really do. I want to make sure it's so campy. It's so over dramatic. I love it. But it just feels like it should be like, no, you don't understand. This is how I feel.
It feels like that skit from SNL. What is it? The Californians.
Oh, but this is funny.
Yeah, which is valid. But that is how they talk.
And also, they don't mention street names for no reason here.
That's true.
Clear asks, I already read that. Alex says, I don't know. I just wish I could see him again. One last time. But not like that. Like, I just miss him, okay? I swear. Oh, gosh.
I wish I just could hold Todd and
feel him.
Kiss him on the mouth.
One last time.
But not gay.
Oh gosh. No, not like that, Clear. Crap. Yeah, okay, so he doesn't say any of that. He says, no, maybe I would know. Clear says, let's go see him. And then
then they break into a thing.
Yeah, we head to them sneaking into a funeral home. They then head to the mortuary. They see Todd's body, and Alex says, that's him. Whatever it was that made him Todd's, definitely gone. Then they
being alive probably might have been it.
Then they get scared by Todd's arm jolting upward. Then Bloodworth comes in and shushes them, saying, please, you'll wake the dead. And Bloodworth is played by OG National Treasure himself, Tony freaking Todd.
Woo! Tony Todd.
Yeah, Tony Todd. I love Tony Todd. Alex asks...
And they do give him some very good dialogue in this movie, I gotta say.
I mean, it's still kind of bad, but in a fun...
it's bad, but it's awesome.
Yeah. Alex asks, why did his hand do that? And Bloodworth explains, chemicals. and the vascular flush creates cadaveric spasms.
Cadaveric spasms.
What? Screw you. Alex says, "Look, I'm his friend. Just his friend. I swear, I'm just his friend."
Yeah.
Bloodworth cuts him off, saying, "I know who you are." Clear asks, "What are all those tiny marks?" Bloodworth answers, "Cuticle lacerations from pulling at the wire." Alex says, "Pulling at the wire? If he was pulling at the wire, he wasn't trying to kill himself. It was an accident." Bloodworth says, "In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. Well, you have to realize... Wait, no, what... I think it's what... Well, no, I don't know. Well, you have to realize is that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail. Every single move we make, from the mundane to the monumental, the red light we stop at or run, the people we play harmonica with or won't with us, airplanes that we ride or walk out of, it's all part of death's sadistic design leading to the grave." Alex says, "Design? Does that mean if you figure out the design, you can cheat death?" Bloodworth says, "Alex, you've already done that by walking off the plane. Your friend's departure shows that death has a new design for all of you. Now you have to figure out how and when it's coming back at you. Play your hunch, Alex, if you think you can get away with it. But remember, the risk of changing the plan, of disrespecting the design, could incite a fury that could terrorize even the Grim Reaper. And you don't even want to mess with that, Mac Daddy."
Yeah.
He removes the syringe from Todd's neck, squirting blood, and laughs. Alex apologizes for him and Clear breaking in, and they start to leave. Bloodworth says, "No harm, no foul. I'll see you soon." Now, Tony Todd's awesome. This is our one scene with Tony Todd, and he's great. He eats up every line he's given, even when they're not great. But yeah, Tony Todd's awesome.
They are hilarious.
I don't think there's many people who could have pulled off the line, and you don't even want to mess with the Mac Daddy. But somehow Tony Todd made it almost sound cool. Not quite, but almost.
Yeah, he gave it his best.
Yeah. Clear and Alex are outside of a coffee shop. Alex says, "The mortician said death has a design." "Okay. I'm talking about omens. How do we... I'm trying to stop doing the voice. I don't want this to become a bit for the whole podcast. I feel like people will hate that. How do we know...
Yeah,
I just was sitting here by sipping this coffee or breathing the air or even crossing the intersection that we haven't started in motion the events that will someday lead to our death 40 years from now, 10 years from now, tomorrow. We don't. Unless we open ourselves up to the signs it's willing to show us." He shows her the paper that says Todd. Clear says, "I don't understand. Did you see Todd die? Did it happen again? Like on the plane?" Alex says, No, I didn't. But it might as well have. This is a message from something. Clear. Or someone. Hinting at a design. Clear says, "Total bull poop.
Yeah.
You can find death omens anywhere you want to." Alex sees a reflection of a bus drive by the window, even though no bus drives by. And then he stares off dramatically at the street. He actually does again this time. Like, this time isn't a joke. He actually does do that. Sure. Clear continues. "Coffee starts with a C and ends with an E. So does the word choke. So what, we're going to choke to death? I want to hear you. We'll go nuts if you start this poop." Alex says, "The mortician said that death has a design, right? Now what if you, me, Todd, Carter, Terry, Billy, Miss Luton messed up the design? For whatever reason, I saw Death's plan, and we cheated it. What if it was our time? What if we were not meant to get off the plane? What if it still is our time? If it is, then it's not finished, and we will die. Now. Not later. Unless we find the patterns and cheat it again. Carter and Terry drive up. Sorry, they don't drive by it yet. They just drive up. And see Clear and Alex. Clear says, after hearing you, I do believe that Todd killed himself. Carter drives off, but gets angry and turns around, nearly hitting Billy on his bike, causing Billy to fall in front of traffic and almost get hit by a different car. Billy then says his catchphrase that I can't even say because it's just a curse word. He says it like 3 times to him. He already said it once. He says it at least one more time. He calls him a pee-pee.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say that. Calls him a jerk, you know. You understand, everyone. You understand, guys.
Yeah. You guys get it.
This is a PG podcast, except for when it isn't.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Which is whenever we describe the graphic death scenes in graphic detail. But we go, we can't curse. No.
Right.
That's where we draw the line. We won't even say the word playing harmonica.
Yeah. That's close.
Yeah. Ew. But yeah, so he almost hits Billy, causing him to fall into a different car, almost getting hit. Carter gets out of the car. Terry tries to get him back in. Valerie walks out of the coffee shop. Carter says, "Oh, looks like we have a bit of a reunion here. When are you, moving?" Valerie responds, "A couple weeks." Carter continues, "Oh, that's too bad. Losing our favorite teacher." Billy rides over mad at Carter. Alex says, "Guys, there's something I need to tell you." Carter interrupts. "Lived here your whole life, and now she's got to move. All because of Browning." At the same time, Carter yells, "You guys are in danger!" Terry yells, "Enough! Both of you! They died and we lived. Get over it. I will not let the plane crash be the most important thing in my life. Oh, I'm moving on. Carter, and if you want to waste your life beating the poop out of Alex every time you see him, then you can just drop dead." She says this as she walks into the street, where she gets hit by a bus immediately.
Yeah.
It's a really fun, like, out of nowhere kill. Yeah. Everyone is sprayed with blood. And then we cut to, I believe, actually, the next little scene is a quick scene that I actually didn't write down in my notes because, like, oh, this doesn't matter, but I have a fun little fact about it, so I will bring it up. The next thing we see is both Alex and Clear making, what's the stupid thing called? The thing you put in water. Makes it bubbly. Alka-Seltzer. They're both making cups of Alka-Seltzer, and it goes on for a little bit where you're like, why is this happening? And that was added in after test screenings because people missed half of, like, the dialogue because they were still reacting to Terry's death. So they added in that little buffer of nothing, pretty much, just so there was time for people to calm down after Terry dying out of nowhere.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, at first I was like, oh, I don't care about them. Why am I going to bring up that they're both making Alka-Seltzer? That doesn't matter. But then I found out why it's there, and I was like, okay, actually, that I will bring that up.
Trying to give the audience time to process this new trauma that they
I mean,
have.
basically, yeah. Alex doesn't take a call from Clear, so his dad tells her he's in the shower. Mr. Browning says, she's concerned about you. I'm concerned about you. Why won't you talk to her? Or me? Alex responds, Dad, you and Mom have both been a big help, but there's something I need to understand before I can talk. To anyone. If only I could talk to Todd about how No, wait, he doesn't say that, sorry. I like my new fan fiction about this story. That's the secret part of the story, is that he actually just deeply in love with Todd and misses him. And then grows up to change his last name to Bryce and become a Oh my gosh!
It's all coming together.
Alex watches a news report that shows him the order they would die if they were on the plane, and he realizes that it matches up with the order of the deaths so far, and that means Miss Luton is next. We head to her house, where she's packing, and she's on the phone, emotional about how everything reminds her about the crash. She hopes a change of scenery will help, but it's hard because she's lived her whole life there, But now all she sees is the tragedy. She looks outside, and she sees, not the tragedy this time it's Alex, in her yard. So she hangs up with whoever she's talking to and calls Agents Shrek and Ween. They show up as Alex is checking the tire pressure of Valerie's car. They take him away, and we see wind blowing Valerie's house, even though her window is closed.
That's wind!
Oh, that's wind! At the station, Alex says, I believe that, Sorry. I was just caught off guard by this. So, apparently it was supposed to be like, I believe that, and there was supposed to be like a pause, you know? Because the way I do you have to do is you say ellipses, and then it puts an ellipses in. This time it didn't. So it says, I believe that, ellipses. I meant... Miss Newton
believes that ellipses.
Yes. Miss Newton is next. Agent Ween questions, next? Alex says, yes. Yeah, next, because there's this pattern that's occurring. I'm doing the voice again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really trying not to. It's just the dialogue is so bad, but in a great bad way. Agent Ween says, oh, right, a pattern, yeah. You noticed that too, huh? Back to Valerie, who puts on her mom's favorite record, John Denver's Greatest Hits. She starts the record, and it's Rocky Mountain High! Back to Alex.
You're going to start singing Rocky Mountain High.
I don't know the song.
That's fair.
Something about, like, being 27. I mean, that's how the song starts. Like, legitimately. Like, it's like something about some guy who's 27. I don't know. Back to Alex, where Agent Shrek asks, so what about this pattern, Alex? Did you see it in another one of your visions? Did you catch it in some TV static? Alex says, you know, I never asked for what happened on the plane, and you guys are going to sit there in your little chairs and make fun of me. Whatever, it's fine, but I saved 6 lives on the plane. 6 lives, and everybody in my entire school thinks I'm a freak. I'm not suffering from post-traumatic stress, and I don't have a narcissistic deity complex. I'm not going Dahmer on you guys. This just is. There is a pattern for us all. There is a pattern for you. There's a pattern for you. This is a design... Wait. There is a design for everyone, and I don't know yet, but I'm going to break this one. Back to Valerie, who fills her kettle with water. She dries the outside of her kettle with a towel and sees a shadow on the kettle and is scared by it. But when she turns around, there's nothing there. She puts her kettle on the stove and places the towel over her knives. Her stove goes out, so she grabs a match and she relights it. That's fine. Oh, do you think something was going to happen there? No. She's just relighting her fire. It's okay. Back to the station. Agent Ween says, Alex, you came to our attention at first because you were under suspicion in the plane explosion. Excuse me. Now, I know you didn't blow up the plane. And we were ready to move on, but then the other survivors started to die. First your friend Todd, then Terry Chaney, while you were there, while you were at the scene, and now tonight, we pick you up at Val Luton's house. Alex, nobody has control over life and death unless they are taking lives and causing death. Now, can you promise me that no one else is going to die? Alex responds, no, I can't. As long as I'm here, it's out of my control. I'm sorry. Agent Ween says, okay, go ahead. Get out of here. Alex says, thank you. I did the voice again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really trying not to, but it's just so, like, it feels right. It's not at all the voice he does in the movie. He sounds like a little kid until he gets angry, and then you hear Father Bryce in him, and you're like, oh, it's Devon Sawa. Yeah, so Alex leaves. Agent Shrek says, that kid gives me the creeps. Agent Ween says, what are we going to do? We got nothing on him to hold him. Agent Shrek says, no, that's not what I'm talking about. There were a couple of moments there or I almost believed him. Agent Ween responds, "Can I tell you something? Don't take this the wrong way, but I miss you, man. Like, I just feel like we don't hang out. Oh, sorry, no. But sometimes you give me the creeps." Back to Valerie, whose kettle has come to a boil. She pours water in a mug, but throws it out when she sees the school mascot on the mug. She calms herself back down, puts some ice in the mug, and fills it with vodka. The extreme heat, followed by freezing temperatures, causes the mug to crack, which in turn causes it to leak. It drips out on the floor, and when she sets her cup down to pack a box, it drips into her computer, which causes a short circuit, exploding her computer, sending a shard of glass into her neck. Quick, cut to Alex, who sees a man burning leaves, and the embers go into his face, and he runs off, thinking the fire is an omen. Back to Valerie, who is seriously bleeding out at this point. The computer starts a fire, which lights the trail of vodka, which leads back to the stove, which goes up in flames, causing the bottle of vodka to explode. And here's the thing. This is super unrealistic, but also really cool, so I don't care. The explosion sends Valerie to the floor. She tries to pull the towel down to stop the bleeding, but it pulls the knives down, sending one directly into her chest. At this point, Alex comes running in and finds her on the floor. Before he can help her, the oven explodes, causing a chair to fall over and shove the knife deeper into her, killing her. He then, for some really, really stupid reason, pulls the knife out, now putting his fingerprints on the knife, along with his footprints that are walked through her blood. So, now he's like fully just, definitely at the scene. Really smart. He runs out of the house, passing Billy before the house explodes. That's it. That's the end of that scene. It's a fun kill. It's definitely better of the first two, If I'm comparing this to, the choking, I like this one more.
Yeah. A little bit more of that Rube Goldberg type death that you come to expect from Final Destination, if you've watched these movies.
Which, to be fair, this one, I guess you're not supposed to expect that. You're just supposed to be like, oh, Death's killing these people. That's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was fun. It's super overcomplicated, but in a fun way that I enjoyed. And yes, vodka would probably not be able to catch fire like that. I understand. Like, the only reason vodka catches fire is because of the ethanol, which I think would already have been like probably dispersed into the air at that point, and not. It probably wouldn't happen. It's only 40% proof. It had to be 100% proof to actually catch fire like that. I don't care. It's cool. As well as it was shown to lightly drip out of her cup, and then it's like a straight up just like smear exactly in the path they wanted it to be. But who cares? It was fun. It's cool. Also, the devil or whatever is working to kill them. Death, I don't know what it is.
Just death.
Well, the reason I called it the devil is, spoiler, big spoiler, I guess, maybe not really. Bloodworth is a character that may reappear in other movies. And one of the movies, instead of being called Bloodworth, he's credited as the devil. So, maybe the devil's part of this the whole time? I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't think it really matters.
I think death could work for the devil.
Yeah.
I imagine that being in this universe.
Yeah, sure, why not? We head to Clear, telling Agent Streckenween that she doesn't know where Alex is because he's not talking to her. They basically tell her if he does contact her to let them know for her safety. Billy and Carter at the memorial. Carter tries to carve Terry's name into the memorial because she deserves to be on there, but he's not very successful. Clear shows up and explains that she brought them there because Agent Shrek and Ween are watching her to see if she goes to Alex, and that's why they're going to take her to him. Which, pausing real quick, if they're really following her, wouldn't they already have followed her there? Because if not, couldn't she just at any point just to walk like, if they didn't follow her here, does she really need them to find him? I mean, whatever. I'm just saying, it's a little like, wait, what? but, Carter asks, why would I want to see him? Clear says, because he knows which one of us is next. We cut to Carter driving. Billy says, so drive the speed limit, okay? Oh, and don't pass on the right. Carter replies, Billy, wait a minute. Here, I'm getting a vision. You're the next one, man. Billy says, hey, man, well, why'd you say that? And Carter says, because if you say another word, I'm gonna kill you. That was that whole scene. It was just a silly little Billy joke scene, which, I'm okay with that. I enjoy me some Sean William Scott, so that's fine. They arrive at Jones Beach State Park, which is the site of the crash. Clear tells them to go down the road, and she'll start there, and they'll meet back in the middle later. She then immediately finds Alex staring at the stars sitting on the beach. Alex asks, do you think they're still up there? Somehow? Flight 180? Are they still in flight? Somewhere? Are they safe? Clear says, when I was a kid, like 6 or 7, I'm trying to tell what I wrote here, because it didn't. This is like the first time, like, drastically where I can't tell what it was supposed to be. For the most part, the notes have been a lot easier to read today than last time. I was trying to do a little bit better paying attention while I was going, but she basically says, like, I was worried about her parents dying, but I don't know what words I said here, so we'll just move on. She says basically that, like, she was worried about her parents dying, like, every night. Alex says, yeah, well, most kids do, I guess, which most don't. I did not worry about my parents dying. I never really thought about that. You guys are some screwed up kids if that's what you're thinking about constantly. Clear continues, most kids never have it happen. When I was 10, my dad went to a 7-Eleven for cigarettes. I guess he heard someone say, don't turn around. So on reflex, or thinking it was a friend joking, he did. And a guy blew his head off. Life became poop after that. My mom just couldn't deal anymore. She married this butthole, who my mom, with my real dad, would have crossed the street to avoid this guy. He didn't really want a kid, so my mom didn't either anymore. If that was the design for my father and my family, then obscenity death. I have thought a lot about that somewhere, Alex. It exists. That place where my dad is still alive, still safe. Where he had a full pack of cigarettes that night and kept driving. Where me and my mom and my dad are still together and I have no idea about this life here. Where our friends are still in the sky. Where everyone gets a second chance, Alex. We can't give up. Now at this point, I'm going to talk, for the first time, it's going to come up a couple times, about the deleted scenes, as well as teasing that there is an alternate ending that I will also bring up later, that were cut out. We'll explain why when it comes up for the alternate ending part. But yeah, and a scene that was cut right after this, they are about to, like, you don't see anything because it's a teen horror movie, and you never actually go there for that. But it's, heavily implied that they're about to, play harmonica. As well as a scene later where she takes a pregnancy test, and she's pregnant. Which I will say, feels kind of out of place after that dialogue, but also makes sense due to other dialogue that I'll bring up when it happens in a little bit, where I go, wait, what? It makes no sense. There's kind of like a jump to them feeling like they're in a relationship when there was no actual... They cut out the scene because apparently people didn't really like the relationship in a test screening, which is fair. But then they still kept a line later that made... We'll get to it. Yeah, we'll just... That's... Yeah, there was a test screening that cut some stuff out. That was one of the things they cut out. We continue with our 4 survivors driving down the road in Carter's car. Alex says, look, I can't go home, all right? Because after Miss Luton, they're going to be looking for me. Clear says, no, we're taking you to my dad's cabin in the woods. It's only a couple miles from my house. Carter says, all right, Brownie, you warlock. Did you hear about Miss Luton or what? Alex says, why do you think I was hiding? Claire says, Billy told the FBI he saw you running from her house. Alex continues. I was running because they blamed me for everything. They blamed me for Todd. They blamed me for her. They blamed me for the plane crash, Billy. Billy says, the fire, caramelized your blood. Caramelized her blood, Alex. Your shoe prints were in it. Your fingerprints were on the knives. Alex says, I told you, Billy. I told you they were not... Carter interrupts. I'm not talking about if you did it, or even if you knew she was dead. Did you know that she was going to be the next before she was? Alex says, yeah, I did. I knew. Carter says, all right, out of us, who is next to see it? Billy says, please, tell me I'm going to get to see the Jets win a Super Bowl. I don't know if the Jets have ever won a Super Bowl since then, but I also don't really follow football, so I could be wrong. Carter continues, it's me, right? That's why you're not saying. Billy says, I knew I should have felt up Tammy in that pool that time.
All right, Billy.
Carter snaps, hey, what are you whining about? He said I'm next. Claire says, he didn't say anything. Just drive.
It's true.
It's true. Carter says, see, you have a responsibility to tell me. Alex says, you think it's going to make it easier to know, Carter? Huh? It's not. It's going to make it harder. Carter says, yeah, you get off having control over me. You let me decide how to deal with it. Alex says, it doesn't matter who's next, because we're all on the same list. All of us. Carter says, all right. Why bother? I mean, what's the point, right? Me and Terry, we'll be back together on the other side, so why wait any longer? And he slams on the gas and starts to speed. Everyone freaks out and wants him to stop, but he keeps it going for a while. They all say a bunch of stuff that I'm just gonna skip over because it's just a bunch of no, stop, that kind of stuff. I'll tell you the little things that matter during the scene. Alex sees his seatbelt is broken, and Alex also sees a train that isn't there in the reflection of the window. Eventually, Carter stops on a train track. A train is coming, but Carter won't start driving again. Billy struggles for a moment before opening the door. Billy, Alex, and Clear get out of the car. Carter stays in the car, while Alex and Clear yell for him to get out. After a bit, Carter says, it ain't my time, but the car won't start, and he can't get out of his seatbelt. Alex runs over, and he helps him get out by ripping the seatbelt just barely in time as the train smashes the car with this really cool explosion. A piece of debris is shown rattling under the train as it passes over it. Wonder if that could be important. Alex says, I saw it! I saw the belt! As Clear hugs him. Clear asks, you scared now? Carter says, it broke. Clear says, bull poop! He saved your life again! Billy says, that's right! You're next, Carter! I'm staying the obscenity away from you! Carter says, shut up, Billy! Clear says, Billy, we don't need this poop right now. Billy says, I don't need it ever! What are you doing? Get away from him! He's next! Carter says, hey, screw you, Billy! I'm not dead! Billy says, oh, you will be! You're dead! You're dead! You ain't taking me with you! As he says this, the debris gets hit and flies, cutting his head off through his mouth like a half decapitation thing. It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's
pretty sick.
Probably the best kill in the movie. It's kind of the most simplest, but also just really well done. So I really enjoyed it. They all freak out. Alex says, you should have been next. You should have been next after Luton. That's the plan. That's the design. You should be dead. Carter says, well, then you're the devil. No, that's Bloodworth, maybe. Silly. Carter didn't read the script of the third movie.
Yeah.
Alex continues, I saw the seatbelt. I knew it would rip. That's how I saved him. Just like the plane. Just like the explosion. I saw it. Clear says, the police are coming. Alex yells in obscenity and then says, I saved him. And because I saved him, it skipped Carter and went to the next person in the path of the explosion. Billy. I have to see it. And if I see it, then I intervene. And if I intervene, I cheat the design. Carter asks, intervene? What are you, God now? Make up your mind. Is he God or the devil? Come on, Carter. You can't be both. He's one or the other. You can't think he's both. Come on, Carter. Alex says, God's not afraid to die. Gods don't die. We do. You know? Clear says, Baby, you're losing it. The police will be here. We have to get you back to my cabin. You can hide out there and get your head together. This is the point where I'll pause and say, this line shows that cutting out that scene really, like, when I first saw this, not knowing, like, I didn't know about, like, the cutout scenes and stuff, I was like, why is she calling him baby? Like, they have not really established any sort of romantic, like, a little bit of romantic tension, maybe,
from the,
but, like,
there's
been a little bit of, like, romantic attraction, maybe a little tension. Definitely not at the point where she's calling him baby. But if this was in the script after they, you know, consummated their relationship, it makes a little more sense. But they cut that, so it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Alex then says, after Billy, I am next. I'm next. Clear says, then me. Alex says, hey. Listen, I'm not gonna let it happen, okay? Listen to me, alright? Carter says, hey. Why don't you just get out of here?
Which is that valid.
Yeah, fair. And they run off. We cut to some time later in the cabin, where Alex is prepping to make it as safe as possible. He's eating white meat chicken spread with a spoon, wearing work gloves, with his lantern on a pot in a bowl of water so it can't cause a fire. Death's wind blows through, knocking his trash over, where a can rolls into a fishing rod, which pulls open the closet door. Alex runs to stop it. A knife pierces through the door, but it doesn't hit him. Inside the closet, he sees fishing hooks that are rusted, and he says, tetanus, nice one. But I overlooked it. You tried to capitalize, but I caught you, you obscenity. I can beat you. Yeah, but not forever. But I got this cabin rigged up to beat you now.
Yeah. Very goofy scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a silly scene, but it's...
Also, I don't think it's a knife. I think it's like a climbing pick or a climber's pick.
Sure, why not? I don't care.
Is what it looks like. Yeah.
But yeah. I also thought about this that I could be completely grasping. But in season 2 of Chucky, there's a point where Chucky like throws knives at the door and almost hits Jake. And I'm wondering if it was a callback to this. It being one of, Devon Sawa's most famous movies, his office. Could not be. Could just be, knives through a door. But, I don't know. Part of me went like, is that supposed to be a callback? When I saw this, like, was that other thing that I saw before realizing this was here a callback to this? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to believe it is. Because I want it to
fair. Oh, okay. This is Austin's headcanon.
Yeah. Which is also in this headcanon, if you couldn't tell, Alex and Todd were secretly in love. But it was the year 2000, so they couldn't admit it. We head to Clear at her house. It's storming out, and she sees that Agent Shrek and Ween are outside her house. After looking at a picture of her dad and her at the cabin, she goes out to talk to them. It looks at this picture really long and dramatically like it was going to be important, but I don't really feel like what about it had anything to do with anything she does next.
There.
Clear says, I'm not turning him in. It's too dangerous for him to be out there alone. I go with you, which sounds like she's turning him in.
Yeah.
But she literally opens with it. I'm not turning him in. But he can't be out there alone, so like, can you take me and then it's okay? What?
Yeah.
Agent Ween says, you can't, Clear. You just tell us where he is. Wait at home. I give you my word that we will bring him in safely in protective custody. We head back to the cabin where Alex is throwing paper at the fireplace for fun. Because, what else is he going to do? When he sees an article in the paper about how Krista and Blake's parents are setting up a scholarship in their names. He has a realization that he never moved. And Clear's seat was in front of his, so that means she's next. And then even though it felt like Death was there, like Death leaves now. I was like, oh, you're right, my bad. I missed that one. I guess he convinced Death that it wasn't his time. He's like, oh, you're right, it is Clear's time. My bad. I'll get you later. Get you later, buddy.
You got me.
But also in the premonition, he does move, so I don't think him not moving matters.
Hey.
But whatever. I don't really care. This movie has some logic jumps that you have to just deal with, and I'm okay with that. We head back to Clear. The storm is getting worse when lightning hits a power line, causing it to like whip around as like it's live wire. It's also like sentient, and it goes all over the place, like both at the front of her house and the back of her house. But I think it's supposed to be the same wire. I don't care. I don't know. Death did it, okay? Back to Alex, who is leaving the cabin right as the cops and the FBI show up, so he has to run away and cross the lake on a canoe. Back to Claire, who lights a candle because her power is out. From her window, she sees her dog Prince is in danger of the wire, so she puts on her coat, and death's wind blows out the candle. Chris, we're supposed to act really dramatic when that happens.
Ah!
Thank you. I know it's like the 5th time it happened, but we have to pretend like it's a big thing every time.
Death's wind.
Yeah. Clear goes outside. Sorry, no, not yet. We cut back to Alex as he runs through the forest to make his way to Clear. Cut back to Clear, who unties her dog as the wire whips around, causing her rotary outdoor umbrella drying rack, I had to look up what those are called, to stab her into her pool, causing the water to pour out and almost electrocute her and her dog. But they make it out just in time. It's really dramatic, it's drawn out, but it's, the fake out ones.
It's very much drawn out.
Yeah. She climbs up her terrace. We cut back to Alex, who's hit by a falling tree and is trapped with his head in water. Will he die? Will he live? Well, let's cut back to Clear, who has to cross from her terrace to the window, but she almost falls, but doesn't. Back to Alex, who doesn't drown and gets out from under the tree. Back to Clear, who makes it to her window as the wire causes her TV and other electronics in her home to explode for reasons. It looks cool. Yeah. That's the reason.
It does look cool. The explosions do somehow pass through every electronic device in her house.
Doesn't make any sense, but I don't care because it looks cool. She makes... But also, here's the thing. You could say, like, oh, that makes no sense. In the real world, that would never happen. But also, this is a world where death is trying to kill people with elaborate Rube Goldberg death machines. So maybe death just decided to explode the lights. And you know what? Fine.
Yeah, I guess.
There is that element of, like, it is easy to go, like, well, actually, scientifically, that's impossible. But also, it's like... But also... There is this death entity who's trying to kill them because they escaped his plan.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, but I draw the line at science not being followed. It's kind of like the same people who like get mad that people don't just like kick Chucky across the room. It's like, oh, Chucky's strong enough to hurt you? It's like, you're okay with Chucky being possessed by a human thanks to a voodoo curse. But him being strong is where you draw the line. It's a similar situation here where I'm going like, really? Come on, movie. That's unrealistic. But also, it's a movie about a guy who got a premonition that saved all their lives.
You understand.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Yeah, my point is, why did those explode? It shouldn't have. -5 stars. Lost my place. She makes her way to the garage, and she tries to drive away, but the garage door won't open. So she just backs up through it. But the garage door opener bar falls into her car, trapping it. But also it didn't really trap it, because she's able to get out of it. Because it's the classic, every other moment in this movie is like, this happens, but then this happens, but then this happens. It's like, okay, we get it, movie. You're trying to fake out, fake out, fake out. It's like the quadruple fake out where I'm like, maybe I don't care about the 4th one. She's able to escape from it, but now her car is out of gas. The wire is flailing at the front of her car as turpentine from her garage starts to spill out under her car. Alex runs up and tells her not to touch anything because she's grounded by her tires. He then hits the wire away with a shovel. It goes flying back and hits a pressurized gas tank that propels under her car. The turpentine lights, and the trail leads to under her car where the tank is, and Alex tells her the car is going to explode. He tells her he's going to grab the wire and give her a chance to run. She begs him not to, but he tells her that when he does this, it'll skip her and it'll be over. The only way that they can cheat death again. She tries to say no, but he says, Clear, I'm not going to let it beat us both. You know what to do. I'll always be with you. So he sacrifices himself by grabbing the wire, giving her a chance to run. The car explodes, sending him flying backward. Clear, as well as Agents Shrek and Ween, run over to check on Alex, but he's not breathing. And we fade to white. Before heading to 6 months later on a plane that has arrived in France, we see a now blonde Clear and Carter. Carter says, Well, we made it. Clear says, Paris. I can't believe it. Into frame walks Alex, who says, You know, I just can't believe we got on a plane again. Do you know what I'm saying? And now, this is the point where I'll pause before going into the rest of the movie to talk about the alternate ending and whatnot.
Oh, there's an alternate?
Yeah. So the original the original ending, the one they made was he dies. He died there. He was supposed to die there. Also, the other scenes we already talked about that got cut. They did the harmonica, and she has a baby xylophone in her or whatever that part of. I don't know. She's got a baby. So he dies. They still cut to later where she gives birth to the baby, and then her and Carter are like hanging out and talking about how like they made it, and I guess the implication is that like the baby, the new life, is what helped them be able to beat death. Bringing a new life in canceled out their life debt, kind of a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the fans, the test critics, hated it because they didn't really like all the love story part of it. They didn't like that Alex died, and they didn't like that Carter lived. So, our boy Bob Shea, who you may remember from being a Horror Boy alum in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. Nope. Nightmare on Elm Street films. It's too many films. He was, had some guest starring roles in that, as well as being the producer who, like, basically made those movies possible. He stepped in and was like, yeah, no, you guys are going to have to reshoot this ending. So they did. And that's also why I'm pretty sure Clear is blonde. Because this was shot after.
Yeah. Yeah. After the initial
She probably already had dyed her hair for a different role or something, and they're like, yeah, it's 6 months later, why not? Yeah, you can be blonde. We don't care. But yeah, so that was one of the big things that got changed at the test screenings. Because people loved most of the movie, but didn't like parts of it. Like the love story that they felt like got shoved in there. But also, they decided to cut that out, but not all the lines that hinted at it, which made it even more weird, in my opinion, honestly, than if it was there. So yeah. Our gang here, they head to... we head to them eating outside at like a little cafe in Paris. Alex says, It's weird being here, huh? We finally completed a puzzle. It's just there's something missing, Carter picks up his glass and says, To Terry. Alex adds, Yeah, to Todd too, please. Please, can we talk about Todd? Oh, sorry, no, he just says, yeah, to Todd. Claire says, To all of our friends that can't be here, and she gives a dirty glare at Alex for only mentioning Todd, because, she can tell there's something that...
Yeah, definitely.
They all cheers, and Carter starts to chuckle. Alex asks why, like, what? Carter explains, If you would have told me 6 months ago that the three of us would be sitting here having a drink, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it just feels like the two of you are the only ones who can really understand. A street performer starts to strum on his guitar some familiar chords.
Uh-oh.
Carter continues. You were right, Browning. It didn't skip us. There was a design. I'm sorry, it did skip us. There was a design. We beat it, We won. Clear says, I think the only thing we won, Carter, is a chance of a full life. A chance that I won't ever waste. Alex says, Yeah. There's just something, Something I can't figure out. Carter says, About what? Alex continues, About the design. Clear says, Alex, don't. Alex, just let it go, alright? Alex continues anyway, saying,
Yeah.
Just hear me out, alright? Just listen. Now, the path of the explosion told me the order of our deaths, right? When I intervened and saved Carter, it skipped him and went to the next person on the path and went to Billy. Then it was clear, but I intervened and saved her, so it went to me. But in my case, no one intervened, right? I was thrown from the power line by the explosion. So, Carter jumps in. So why did it skip you, right? Clear says, how do you know that this isn't exactly what was meant to happen? That out of everyone on Flight 180, you, me, and Carter were meant to live. Maybe that was the design all along. Carter says, or you could still be next. Clear tells him, shut up, Carter. Carter goes on. What? I didn't make up the rules. Somebody's got to intervene before death can skip them. Alex proved that 3 times with the plane, with me, with you. For all I know, it could circle back and get us all again. But I'm the safest person in the world because you're still next. Because Carter's still a jerk, guys. If you were wondering. Alex hears the performer start to sing Rocky Mountain High.
No!
He starts to freak out at the sight of everything happening. There's a fire. There's like a lantern that gets lit, and he freaks out. There's a couple other things he freaks out about. But then wind blows over Clear's wine. And it could be Death's wind, but also they're outside, so it could just be wind.
It could just be wind's wind.
It could be wind's wind. Alex gets up to leave and tells them he'll meet them back at the hotel. And he steps back and is almost hit by a bus, but Clear yells his name, and he doesn't walk into it. But the bus crashes into a street light, causing it to flip up into the air and hit a giant sign that comes swinging down. And also, it comes swinging down, which I didn't realize until I watched a video about it. It actually is 180 is what swings down. So, fun little fact. It's about to hit Alex when Carter pushes him out of the way, saying, I told you were next. Alex says, then it just skipped me. Carter asks, so who's next? As the sign swings back, about to hit him, as we head to our credits. Presumably, Carter dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That spoiler, he does. They do confirm that in the sequel. But yeah, that was Final Destination. Final thoughts on the first Final Destination is I really enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's high art. It's not. But yeah. I really enjoy teen horror, as we've established with Scream, as we've established with The Faculty. I look forward to whenever I get around to watching I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, I like this genre of horror. It's fun to me, and this is fun. The kills are really silly and stupid. I love how overboard the acting is to the point of taking itself so seriously that it's just comical. I also think that the few times they actually tried to do comedy with Billy, I actually think did, for me at least, land. I thought Billy was funny. So yeah, I like this movie. It's fun. That's it. It's fun. Tony Todd's awesome. Devon Sawa's not terrible. He gets better in life, as we've seen. But yeah, it's a fun time. Like, that's it. That's for this movie. That's it. You know, I'm sure I'll have complaints about as the series goes on, but right now, this first one, it's just a fun movie, and I enjoyed myself a lot.
Yeah, it is a very fun movie. I've been looking forward to watching Final Destination. I'm still looking forward to watching all the other ones because they are just the perfect level of campy, like horror schlock. I love the concept of basically being a slasher movie, but the slasher is just death and just going wacky with his kills. Very much looking forward to all the other creative and silly kills that happen in the sequels. So
we're gonna cover them because over the next 4 weeks.
See that next week.
Yeah, next week we're gonna cover Final Destination 2. I know, crazy. We're not jumping to 3, or Final Destination, or Final Destination 5. I hate that. I hate they did that with the titling.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, next week is Final Destination 2. The only other one of the movies so far that I've seen. I had watched these first two this past year or so since I got into horror movies. But once we get to those 3 through 5, those are going to be new ground for me. And I've heard about 4, so I'm looking forward to that one. If you like this podcast, leave a 5-star review on any podcast app you use, as long as it's Spotify, Apple, Google, and I think Podbean. I didn't put us there, but I think we're on there. I don't know if you know what Podbean is, but it's one of the things in our analytics on our Spotify for podcasting thing. So, I don't know what Podbean is, but we're on it. So, hey, are you listening to this on Podbean? Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for listening to us anywhere.
Yeah, if you're listening to us anywhere. But yeah, specifically on a podcast app, 5-star review, because that's what helps us in the algorithm, and that means more people can see us. If you actually think we're a good podcast, hey, let other people see if they think we're a good podcast. That'd be cool. If you're on YouTube, the way you help us is you, watch the whole video. Throw it on again in the background. I'm not saying to do that, but if you did, it would help. Then also like, comment, subscribe, all those things. Hit that bell. All that crap you hear every other YouTuber say, it's true. If you don't know we had a YouTube, that is youtube.com/@horrorboys, where you can see a video version of this podcast that drops at the same time the audio version does. And if you want to see that podcast early, is there a way you could do that?
Oh, there is.
There is?
You subscribe to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/Downtown Kentucky? No?
Yeah.
No. I said the wrong thing. Patreon.com/horrorboys? Damn it. That was been such a good, bad... Oh, yeah. Patreon.com/horrorboys. You get the podcast early as well as other content. I screwed it up. We're moving on. My name is Austin. That's Chris. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.